How's it feel? You will start balding due to stress.
On your Tinder, do you put the fact that you work in finance? What does Alt Plus do?
Oh no.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today will be a fun video because I'm gonna sit down with my intern Evan and we're gonna have a mukbang where we eat food and ask each other dumb questions about finance. We've actually shot this clip a little while ago. It was last October when we shot it, so it's been a couple months, but I'm finally getting around to upload it, so hope you guys enjoy. What's going on, guys? Today I'm with my intern Evan. We're gonna ask each other dumb questions about investment banking and private equity while we eat food. It's a Sunday. We actually just came from the office doing a little work, so it's more like a lunch session on the weekend.
Okay, what are we eating, man? I have this curry fried chicken.
And I got the minced beef pork. Give a high-level introduction, like who you are, what do you do, and like your background.
Okay, yeah, so my name is Evan and I go to a university in British Columbia, UBC, and I'm studying business and computer science. It's like a special program that they have there, but I've been working in finance for like the past year. I'm in third year, so I would have been in third year, so it's kind of integral that I was working this year. And yeah, I'm like a fall investment analyst for our company.
When you first interviewed with us, what was your impression of like the company?
Yeah, I found the job posting pretty early on, but I just like messaged Emery because I think it's always good to like get to know the firm before you apply, so that your name is kind of out there before they see your resume. So I spoke to Emery over the phone. First impression was very chill guy. I also spoke to the other analyst in the summer, and he also seemed like a great guy. And yeah, initial impression is definitely positive, which is why I'm working in the first place.
Yeah, like when I first met you, you had the same haircut, which is like a what would you call this haircut? Like a
I'd say this is like a taper. I'm very particular with my haircuts. Gotta make it so it's like intentionally messy, so that I can style whatever I want.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I try to keep it as professional as I can. No.
Yeah, but you see how those like ads for investment bankers, they're all like well dressed and they have like the slick back. Like, you think nowadays people don't care as much about their appearance while they work, especially like professional fields?
Investment
People
banking?
your age?
Nah, man, I had a perm and I got cut off because I'm working, man.
True.
I think people care.
The kids nowadays, when they're 20, they actually have style. Like they actually look after what they. Back when I was 20, like I had a bowl cut. I didn't care about what haircut I had. I barely had any clothes. Like I just didn't care. But it seems like all the kids nowadays.
It's the gram, man. We gotta have like a social image, so that when we're meeting girls or meeting different people, they have that archetype in mind before they even meet us. Explain a certain time that you have in mind that you just thought that, man, I hate my job right now.
I'm pretty sure I never told you this, but when I first started working, the boss that I worked at, he was also the managing director. He's like relatively older, in his 70s, and he's like this super cranky guy. Like especially in the morning, he gets like super cranky. At the time, there's only like one full-time analyst, and there's like 2 interns. I was one of the interns. This one time, at 9 a.m., I walked into the office. So we have a deal, and I need you to take some notes. I was like, okay, sure. And then so I went to my desk. I grabbed a sticky pad, not my notebook. So I grabbed the sticky pad because that was the first thing I saw on my desk. And then I walked into his office, ready to take notes. He literally like looked at me for a solid 10 seconds, blank stare. He's like, he actually straight up like swore at me after he stared at me for 10 seconds. He's like, well, I probably had to swear for this part because I had to recap like the literal part he was saying me. He actually looked at me for 10 seconds and he's like, what the are you doing? I was like, oh, did I do something wrong? Like, I'm here to take notes. He's like, do we not pay you enough for you to get more than sticky pads? I don't understand. Like, did you actually go to university? Because I feel like they should teach you something more than using sticky pads to take notes. I was like, oh, like, I didn't know it was that serious. And then he literally told me to just leave, and then I left. And this was like
The office or like his room?
his room.
Okay. Is that your first finance job?
Yeah, that was my first finance job.
Yeah. Yeah, man, you gotta know better than that.
So where have you worked at in the past?
Last year, I was working at this business development place.
That's your first year of
And
summer.
That was my first year of summer.
Okay.
Honestly, it was hard to get anything in finance because like you don't have any credentials, and I didn't really care enough anyway. And like it was fun, but then I realized in second year that I was like, okay, I need to like land a finance job. So then I worked at another private equity shop last summer, and they were doing like HVAC, and it was pretty boring. But you know, I think I beefed up my resume to get this job. So
they were literally like consolidating HVAC companies.
we were buying residential HVAC, like 1 million or less in revenues. It was kind of interesting, but the companies that we were dealing with, super boring.
Okay. So it sounds like you worked at relatively smaller boutique firms before you joined us. What is it like in general working in like boutique firms?
I mean, I think the things that you do, like if you mess up, then it actually kind of matters. Whereas like the first firm that I was working at for business development, it's like, yeah, I was an intern, but like, on top of that, if I did anything wrong, it would actually make no difference to the company. I was really just there to learn, not contribute. But when you come into these like smaller firms, they hire you because they actually need help. For example, if I messed up this sim, I would have cost the company a whole deal, and it was on me to do that. So like the main difference I think is responsibility. Like you actually get things that matter to the firm. And the other thing would be like general culture. More tight-knit at a firm, as you can probably imagine at a boutique, just because of its size. And like you're sitting with people, the same people every day.
Like when somebody says, "Oh, I'm a private equity analyst or a summer analyst," you kind of expect to sit in front of the computer, kind of just like grind decks and models all day, right? Was that what you expected when you came in?
I already worked at a private equity shop, and that's exactly what I was doing, like screening companies, modeling out their financials, and deciding if we should buy it or not. But here, I was more so dealing with the property close up, and my split when I started, it's like 100% operations, but now it's more like 20 to 30% operations and 70 to like 80% Excel monkey work.
But it really depends on the week and the day. Typically, the way the funds work is like you raise a fund, you deploy the capital, and then you raise the next fund. There's always that in-between gap where like you're done deploying all your capital for the first fund, and then you're in the middle raising the next fund. So if you're stuck in that phase for like 4 months, a lot of times you're just doing like, people call it LP work or like asset management work, where you just manage all your existing deals and you don't do too much like underwriting or like looking to new deals.
What do you tell girls when they ask you to explain what you do?
Evan is a demon in the clubs. So
No, I'm not.
if you find him in the clubs, I will not talk to him.
I'm a wholesome gentleman.
I mean, in the past, when I talked to girls in the club, more like they would ask me, like, what do you do? And then if you're not in the industry, it's too hard to explain. Normally I start out with finance. I would just say, yeah, I work in finance. If they're more keen on asking the details, like we buy apartments. That's what I would tell them. That's about it. Like nobody really digs any further than that. Like, what else are they gonna ask? Like, what about you?
I say unfortunately, so that at least they know I'm self-aware. And I say, unfortunately, I work in finance. And then they laugh. And like they say, oh, at least this guy knows that, you know, finance is not a very well looked upon job to have because of the certain connotations behind it.
What's wrong with that? Like, I feel like girls like that, no? The fact that you work in finance. They don't like it?
Well, certain types of girls, like, I don't know. I think the reason I say that is like, I'm under the assumption that most girls think of finance bros as these, like, you know, all I do is work. They're not fun to talk to. Deal with numbers all the time, which is not the case, but I'm operating under that assumption, so I have to slip that in so that they know, you know?
On your Tinder, or on your Bumble, or whatever app you're on, do you put the fact that you work in finance?
No. 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 There's no way I can do that.
Why?
That would just eliminate. Well, actually, I guess it can go both ways.
Will that boost your chances?
I don't
or
know.
Like, kill your chances?
I don't know. Haven't tried. Maybe I should test the waters. How does it feel that in a couple of years you will start balding due to stress?
Do you see this? Do you see this hairline though? It's actually immaculate. I have good hair genes, but
What if you keep working in finance though? You know, every single person I've seen 40 and above, if you scroll on any investment banking about us page, the team page, all the MDs, all the VPs, they're all bald, man.
okay. But if I'm actually bald by the time I'm 40, I'm gonna get hair transplant.
Nah,
no
same.
cap.
Same.
No cap. I'm not gonna say bald.
Yeah, it's only a 2K, like whatever.
Oh, is it that much? I didn't even look into how much it is, but guaranteed I'm getting a hair transplant. Unless I'm like a 40-year-old dad with 3 kids, and like
I'd still get a hair
transplant.
transplant. Dude, it's your hair, man. That's like, it does things to your confidence. Like,
How many times did you have to work, say, like past 8 p.m.? Or how many times did you work over the weekends?
I've worked like every weekend, maybe not Monday, I mean, maybe not Saturday and Sunday, but I was at the office, I've been at the office like
Every single weekend. Okay.
Yeah. But it's not even like I have to, it's just because like I would rather do that than stay at the office because I didn't finish something. You know, or like if I have to leave early on Friday, or I want to go and do out something on Friday, like I can do that, but that just means I have to come to the office on like Sunday or like Saturday, which makes a lot more sense for me because like I want to do something on Friday, I want to be at the office. But I've been at the office past 8 p.m. like not that many times, maybe like 6-7 times maybe
Okay.
ish.
How many times ever since you worked here have I asked you, what's your capacity like?
How many days have I worked here again? What, like 50?
50 days?
So like 50 probably.
Literally 50 days, like every morning I ask you,
Yeah.
"Okay, what's your capacity?
Most
like?"
likely, yeah.
Okay, how many times have I told you, Evan, look into this, take a first stab at it?
50 times 2, so 100 probably.
And how many times when you submit it back to me have I ever said, Evan, look into these things and please fix? Thanks.
Probably like 40% of the things I send back. Okay, maybe less than that. Maybe like 20 to 30% of the things I send back, and we'll be like, yeah, can you fix this X thing?
But I don't say please fix, thanks.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, obviously not.
That's actually not bad. Like realistically, when I was an intern, literally every single thing needs like 4 versions before it gets sent out.
Oh god.
Like nothing. It's literally impossible for when I was an intern to submit something and my boss is like, looks good to me first time.
If you had $1 million right now, where would you put it?
One thing I noticed is like, especially in the field that we work in, there's a lot of opportunities for small deals that average super high returns. The fact that people say it's a good idea to put your money into like S&P index funds and clip 8% a year. There's a lot of things that as a young person you could do with low investments. One caveat is you actually have to put time into it. But small dollar amounts that can make you a lot of money. If it was me exactly right now, I would flip houses. That's what I would do. Because I have the contacts for lending, I have the contacts for contracting. But you could easily, in my opinion, make, say, over 100% returns annually on your money that you have to still invest time into it. I would say like you probably have to put in 5 to 10 hours a week on the side. So obviously you gotta account for your time, right? Like S&P is passive. What is something that when you get a lump sum for a bonus,
Okay.
as a 20-year-old, you want to spend your money on? When I was an intern and investment banking, like there's various range of how people spend their bonuses. There's like guys who are literally willing to go out on the night they get their bonus and spend like drop 20 grand at a club. Like people actually do that. Like they go out, they get 20 grand after taxes, and they drop it all on them in the club one night. And then there are guys who are like relatively more savvier, like they go out and they buy a Rolex. like the day. And then obviously like on the other side of the spectrum, like some guy would take 20 grand and like invest into something right away.
Honestly, I'm gonna give a relatively boring answer. I think I just invested.
Evan,
Honestly.
you're 20. Come on, you're not gonna drop it all in the
That's
club?
why I invested. I don't need anything flashy. Like, I think like if a person who would, you know, spend 20 racks at a club or, you know, buy a Rolex, what are they doing? They're trying to what, impress people? I don't need to do that. I'm already impressive enough, man. I'll invest the money. Maybe if I, like Emery said, if I have some kind of side hustle that I need to have capital for, you know, I'll throw it in there. Something that is useful, you know. I don't need to buy 6 bottles at a club that amounts to 20K. I think I'd like to think that. We'll see, man. We'll see when it goes into my account. What was the most demeaning task that you've ever done in finance?
I mean, like, it is true historically when people say like, oh, you're an intern, you got to do intern stuff,
Get
right?
coffee.
Like, yeah, literally. I got coffee. We got to clean the office. So, yeah, like in the morning, my boss would be like, go get coffee, and at the end, he would be like, clean up the entire office. Like, I've actually done that in the past. So, I wouldn't say it's demeaning, but it's like, maybe it's a little demeaning for some people, but that's like the typical intern stuff. Yeah, but what have you done so far that's like
I
demeaning?
don't know, like I got coffee for MD. I like print stuff, ran to Staples to get like some tape or something.
Okay, Evan, we're gonna do some rapid fire questions right now that could potentially expose yourself in front of the entire finance YouTubers. Okay, are you ready? So, I came up with some basic questions that most private equity analysts and investment banking analysts should know.
Okay.
And honestly, if you don't know these things, just mean that I didn't train you well enough that you don't understand any of these things. We'll start out with something pretty simple. What does NOI stand for?
Net operating income.
Okay. That's pretty good. What does that mean?
It means all your revenues less your operating expenses.
We're in real estate.
Uh,
That's more of a real estate term. What's NOI in like operating business?
EBITDA? EBIT?
Yeah, EBITDA.
Okay.
I think EBITDA is like the equivalent of NOI. What does OPEX stand for?
Operating expenditures?
Okay. Yeah, maybe you lay out so people can know that you actually know something. Okay. What does CAPEX stand for?
Capital expenditures?
Okay. Yeah, maybe you lay us out here. What does DSCR stand for?
Debt service coverage ratio.
Okay, that's pretty good.
I believe it's what your working, like the ability of your working cash to cover any debt payments such as interest expenses.
Yeah, pretty close. I mean,
Okay.
operating income will cover the debt.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to debt,
Mm-hmm.
what does VTB stand for?
It's a vendor take back
Okay.
loan.
What does that mean?
It means that the seller of the property is directly lending you money on
Okay.
top of the property.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay.
Evan doesn't miss.
Yes.
Quickly, some Excel shortcut questions. Every investment banking analyst
Uh-huh.
and private equity should be pretty fluent in this. I know you use a Mac, so sometimes your laptop doesn't even have these shortcuts. But I taught you this. Like I told you exactly what these things should be. Like we had a lesson on this.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so what does Control Shift Plus do?
That's adding a row.
Okay. What does Alt Plus do?
Oh no. Plus. I don't know, you add a column?
No.
You
Think about
add a
it.
space
No.
to all the cells? I don't know.
It sums. It's the
Oh,
auto sum.
shoot.
Evan, come on. Do you still press the sum button on your keyboard?
I actually do. I have to write it in and then, yeah.
What is the Excel keyboard shortcut to show formulas on the sheet?
F2.
Not bad.
Yeah, I can
Trick question.
count that.
What happens if you press Alt key, H, B, and O?
What? Alt H? Oh, that's home.
Home, yeah. Okay, Alt, H, B,
Border.
okay, O.
There's a whole thing.
No. Close. Like Alt, H, B takes you to borders.
Okay.
So, what is a quick shortcut for you to look at the previous sheet? Or the past, or the next sheet?
Control left arrow.
No. Almost though.
Control shift up arrow.
It is. There's the word up in it.
I don't know. I'll use this.
Control page up.
Oh, what?
Yeah. Okay, because you use a Mac. You
I don't need to do this. I just use a mouse. Like.
What do you mean? You have to know how to use Excel without a mouse.
I do to some extent, but like sometimes it even takes more effort to type in some shortcut than to just literally go like that, and then you're there, you know.
And then your Excel knowledge needs some work.
Yeah, it does. It does.
People your age is kind of different than people my age. Like we're like 8 years apart.
Mm-hmm.
Back in my day, it was also already starting like a tech shift. Like people my age, if they want to make money, they would go into tech. And 8 years before me is when the group would always say, oh, we just want to do investment banking. 8 years before me would be like the early 2000s, right? Mm-hmm. People your age, how do they feel about the finance industry in general? Do people still want to do investment banking? If you ask somebody your age, like which job makes the most money, what would they say?
Like honestly, like they would say tech, because it's true. Obviously, if you work as a software engineer at Amazon, you can make much more than a first-year analyst at an investment bank. But I will say that people like me, like I don't do investment banking I don't do like private equity or finance this stuff to keep doing it for the rest of my life. Like, I think the point is that if you're doing finance, you're either trying to learn how to operate and execute a business. That kind of underlying subtext of being in an investment bank or a private equity group is there. Like, you know, there's so much learning that happens with your interpersonal skills and your technical skills, industry knowledge. That's like a full package. But nowadays, people are there's still like the keeners that are trying to do investment banking, but it's definitely on decline. Most people in my university, like, there are very few that are like very adamant about private equity or investment banking.
Okay. Like you're an intern. Mm-hmm. How do you see your career moving forward?
I actually switched. I used to study finance, and like I am now in comp sci. I obviously wanted to explore my avenues there, but I think like if I really wanted to keep going in finance, I could. I'm like right now I'm recruiting at investment banks, but like I don't see myself in finance like long term. I mean, I personally think that I want to do something entrepreneurial. I'm gonna have one day, I know for a fact that I'm gonna drop everything. I don't know if that's gonna be when I graduate or before I graduate. I'm gonna drop everything, go like full on, try to like start an idea that I've had prior to like dropping everything and going from there.
Okay, Evan, I think we're done with food. So we're at the end of this interview.
Yeah.
Do you want to plug anything?
I'm gonna start a YouTube channel. I was inspired by Emory. And I don't know, I have a video in the pipeline, but I don't have a channel name.
But what do you want to do though? Like finance videos, casual?
I'm gonna do
vlog?
Casual cooking videos.
Cooking?
Yeah, I'm gonna cook. I'm gonna cook, and I'm gonna show you what I do day to day at my private equity job right now. And maybe as I, transition to a weighted average of cooking as a spread of my video, it'll just be a cooking channel. I'll see, man. Honestly, I have no idea.
If you guys want to see Evan's cooking videos, his cooking content, and this video comes out, link will be in the description.
Yes.
Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll see you guys in the next one.